Today, we are tackling one of the most frustrating feelings imaginable, the sense that all your hard work is just disappearing into a void. We're going to break down why success so often feels like an illusion, and why that feeling is almost always lying to you. You know the feeling, right? You're studying, you're training, you're building a business. You are putting in the hours, day after day. But when you step back to look at the results, it's just crickets, nothing. You feel completely and totally stuck. Well, if that's you, you're not alone. This is an incredibly common experience, and we're about to explain exactly why it happens, and more importantly, why you absolutely should not trust that feeling. Okay, so let's get right into it. This graph you're looking at, this is the key to understanding everything today. See, we expect progress to be a nice, steady, straight line going up. But in the real world, it almost always looks like this. A long, flat, frustrating period, we call that the plateau, followed by a sudden, almost vertical takeoff. That plateau, that's the danger zone. It's where our brains scream failure, and it's where most people give up, right before everything is about to change. So why? Why does our brain get this so incredibly wrong? Well, it turns out it all comes down to a fundamental glitch in how we process reality. A kind of deceptive math that our minds are running all the time. You know, this isn't a new idea at all. Way back, like 200 years ago, the brilliant mathematician Laplace pointed this out. He said that our minds have illusions, just like our eyes do. And just like you can use your sense of touch to confirm that a stick in water isn't actually bent, you can use logic and, well, calculation to correct these mental tricks. What Laplace was talking about is what psychologists today call a cognitive illusion. And this is so important. It's not a random mistake. It's a systematic error in our thinking. Our brain is designed to take shortcuts to make sense of a really complex world. But sometimes, those shortcuts lead us way off track, creating our own subjective reality that just doesn't line up with the objective facts. So what are these specific mental shortcuts that are tripping us up? Well, first, there's something called the just world's belief. This is a deep-seated, almost subconscious assumption that the world is fair, so our effort should immediately be balanced out with a reward. Then you've got consistency bias, which is our brain's tendency to tweak our memories so they fit with what we already believe. And finally, our brains are just wired for simple linear thinking. I put 1 unit of work in, I should get 1 unit of results out. Simple cause and effect. The only problem is, the real world is almost never that simple. Okay, so if our brain's internal math is busted, what's the right math? Let's get into the real rules of growth, because they paint a completely different and, frankly, a much more exciting picture of how success actually works. So here it is, the absolute core of it all. We think success is additive, 1 + 1 + 1. But in most complex things, whether it's learning a skill, building a company, or scientific discovery, success is multiplicative. It's 1 times 1.1 times 1.1 again. Your gains are proportional to what you've already built. In other words, they compound. There's a powerful principle that describes this perfectly. It's called the Matthew effect, and it's all about cumulative advantage. Small early gains create new opportunities for even more gains, which kicks off this incredible feedback loop where success literally breeds more success. It's the classic the rich get richer phenomenon, and it explains why someone who starts with even a tiny advantage can end up with a massively bigger one down the line. And this isn't just some vague concept. A Nobel-winning physicist, William Shockley, actually formalized this. He studied the productivity of scientists and found that their output wasn't talent plus effort. It was a product. Talent times effort times skill. Now just think about the math there for a second. If any one of those factors is close to 0, like your skill level when you're brand new at something, the total result is going to be close to 0, no matter how much insane effort you're putting in. So let's go back to our graph, but with this new understanding. That long, flat, agonizing plateau, that's not failure. That's you grinding away, building your skill variable from a 0.1 to a 0.2 to a 0.5. The results on the outside aren't visible yet, but on the inside, you are accumulating massive potential energy. The plateau isn't a period of stagnation. It's the runway you're building for takeoff. It's the essential groundwork before the big breakthrough. Okay, this all makes sense. We have to trust the process. But this raises a really tricky question, doesn't it? How do we know if we're on one of these productive plateaus or if we're just, failing? This is where we have to try and untangle skill from its very messy partner, luck. I mean, this is the dilemma, right? If you're not seeing results, are you just patiently accumulating potential like we talked about? Or are you genuinely heading in the wrong direction? Is your strategy solid, but you just hit a string of bad luck? Or is the whole strategy just flawed from the get-go? How can you possibly tell the difference?
Get ready for this number, because it's a bit of a shock. Researchers actually calculated how long it would take in a field like finance to prove, statistically, that a top-performing investment manager's success was actually due to skill and not just a lucky streak. The answer? Somewhere between 4 and 36 years. And that's the whole point. In any system that has a lot of randomness, which is most of life, short-term results are almost completely meaningless. They're just noise. True skill, the real deal, only becomes clear over a very, very long time. You just can't judge your process based on the results of a single week, or a month, or in some cases, even a few years.
So where does this all leave us? How can we use this knowledge to actually change how we approach things? Let's pull it all together into a new mental toolkit you can use to navigate the next plateau you inevitably face in your life. Let's look at this graph one last time and really lock in a new meaning for it. That plateau is not a wall stopping you. It's a launch pad. It is the necessary, productive, absolutely essential phase where you are building the potential energy for your breakthrough.
So here it is, your new toolkit. Number 1, distrust your intuition. That feeling of being stuck is probably just a cognitive illusion. Your feelings are not facts. Number 2, stop obsessing over short-term outcomes. They're mostly noise. Instead, focus on the process. Ask yourself, am I doing the right things consistently and to a high standard? That's your real measure of progress. And finally, number 3, extend your time horizon. Way out. Give your efforts the long vetting period they deserve so the true signal has time to rise above all that noise. And all of this brings us to one final critical question. If your own feelings about progress are an illusion, and the early results you see are mostly just random noise, what is the one true signal that tells you you're on the right path? The answer isn't the outcome, it's the process. The one true signal is the quality and consistency of the work you are putting in and day out. Trust that process. The breakthrough is a mathematical certainty.